Oh, I like that. Brow down to me. Love a good makeup pun. Alright, so today we're trying out a new brand at CVS called JOAH. They're a K-beauty inspired makeup line, so they're not a Korean brand. They're actually under the Kiss makeup umbrella. It says they're in over 4,000 CVS locations right now. I ordered it online. I haven't seen them in store in Seattle yet, but it says they launched with 158 SKUs. Everything retails between $2.99 and $15.99. I believe when I placed my order on CVS, they had some kind of sale going on, either buy one get one half off or buy one get one free or something. Probably pronouncing it wrong, but JOAH is Korean for I like it. I did not like everything I tried, but there were some standout products, there were some rejects, so if you want to know my thoughts on this brand, here we go. But if you're excited for this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. You can join the Bay Radio family and subscribe. Love to have you. All right, so I just got back from the chiropractor, so I have like an indent on my forehead right here. It's been like a couple hours and it's still chilling, so I've been trying to wait it out, but we're just gonna film now. So I've already washed and moisturized my face. We're gonna start out with this JOAH foundation. This is the Truly Yours Natural Finish Foundation Drop, it's called. I have the lightest shade, which is Classic Ivory. I'm gonna give this a shake. It says online that this is supposed to be super buildable, but it is sheer coverage. They did have a cushion foundation. I want to say that one was like 16 bucks. I think this one was around 9 bucks. I'm just going to put some on my palette and go in with my Sigma F80 foundation brush to start. I can already tell this shade is, yeah, way too dark, but definitely not sheer. Ooh, it looks pretty if the shade wasn't like orange on me. It is oxidizing by the second right here. This is gonna be one where, for the sake of this video, I'm gonna blend it like all the way down my neck. Good thing I'm wearing a turtleneck today. So I definitely need to mix this with another foundation or use a mixer to lighten it. It's very thin. It's like a serum kind of foundation, but I'm getting really good coverage actually. Okay, so I did apply a pretty decent amount, but with that amount and the brush I used, I'm getting like, I would definitely say low full coverage. It does look like full coverage to me. Yeah, you can totally build this up, and this is looking friggin' beautiful. Ooh, it's not clinging anywhere. It looks almost like dewy and like plumping. It's making my skin look really nice and moisturized and plump. It looks really nice. There's not like one thing that is not looking good right now. Lightest shade is quite dark. They definitely need to work on their shade range. Definitely try this mixed in with another foundation because right now it's looking friggin' beautiful. It does feel like you need to set it though. It definitely feels like it's gonna slide around and it's a little bit like tacky. I have a full coverage concealer here to try out. This is Classic Ivory, the lightest one. So I'm just gonna use my finger to apply this underneath the eyes. Whoa, that was a lot. Okay, I'm gonna drag some of this over to the other side. Ooh, that's burning. Definitely burning the under eyes right now. See if this dies down a little bit. Doesn't look like total full coverage. I thought it was gonna be when I first put it on, and then this is like one that as it's kind of sitting here, it's just not looking the best. It doesn't look bad. I think this is also oxidizing, no? You can almost see, yeah, it looks like the same shade as my foundation now. And I almost feel like you can see it oxidizing like on the edge. I'm gonna use my Physicians Formula powder to set this. Usually I mix my under eyes, but because my face is so dark right now, this is definitely gonna be light enough. So I'm just gonna use this to set under here. The shade of my face right now is like my self-tanner shade. So my under eyes are still burning, especially this side. I'm getting like burning all along here. So I don't know if it's this product layered on top of the foundation, like something isn't working together with these formulas, or if it's just the concealer on its own, but either way, I wouldn't reach for this one again. So I have this Selfie Ready setting powder. This is in the shade Peach. I believe they had a few different shades of this. Tap some in here, and I'm gonna use this to set my cheek area since I do feel like with this foundation, actually it's drying down a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely setting down more. I actually don't know if I would need to powder this. I think I could probably blend stuff on top of here without actually powdering it. So it just needs a few minutes to set down. It is looking more matte now, actually. Not my forehead. My forehead's still looking pretty dewy, but this area of my face. But just to try out the powder too, I am gonna powder my cheek area. Ooh. Wow, that is a powdery powder. A little bit of this goes a long way. I have a dewy setting spray to try too, so I'm excited because this is going to be a good test since now I am very matte down here with this powder, so we'll see how much dew the setting spray adds. That actually looks much better than a lot of loose powders look on my skin. Like much better. It didn't seem to take away a ton of the coverage, and I like can't see it on my skin at all. Like it doesn't look powdery. I definitely look matte now down here. Feels soft. Like it definitely set it. Feels like a soft matte finish now. Ooh, that looks pretty good. There's a very select few loose powders that work on my skin. So for a loose powder to actually look good and to like not totally make my foundation disappear underneath is pretty rare. So with my forehead, I'm not going to set right here. I really like right there to look dewy and plump, and I don't like the look of setting powder right there on my skin. So I'm just going to set up here so that I can blend bronzer on my temple area. Overall right now though, my skin is looking pretty good. I would try this powder again actually. Okay, so I do have a brow product to try from them. This is the JOAH Brow Down to Me. Oh, I like that. Brow Down to Me. This is in the shade Black Brown. Love a good makeup pun. Okay, they friggin' sealed this. The packaging to get into this thing is no joke. So it looks like you get a spoolie on one end, so I'm gonna use that. Just comb through. And then you get brow pencil on the other side. This looks very fine. Wow. Oh, this is a good, really fine tip. Like you can almost get the hair look with this. Okay, you can totally get actual strokes with this pencil. I would totally use that one again too. I like the shade, that was easy. I like how you can get kind of like brush hair strokes if you wanted to. I have a blush and bronzer palette to try here, and the packaging of this feels like pretty cheapy. It's definitely cardboardy, and this looks really not great. But here's what the inside looks like. On the back it says you can also use this shade as a highlight. It does look a little bit different than online, I feel like. I think they had a couple different shades of this. And I picked up the shade Sunset. This looks pretty cool toned. Like I'm curious how this is gonna look because that looks like almost like a bruise color. But I'm gonna start out with this bronzer shade right here. Keep in mind my face is a different shade right now than it usually is, so the bronzer is gonna look different. Not very pigmented. That looks a little rough. It's looking like quite patchy. Don't love that. I've gone back in, I think like 5 times now to dip my brush back in to get something to come off. I'm gonna add a little bit up to my temples. A little scared for this blush shade right now, just because it does look friggin' purple. Still is, it's not even that it's sheer, it's like, it is sheer, but it's also just not blending well. Okay, what's happening? This is like one of those mineral foundations where they say you have to like keep blending in order to like get coverage. It's like the more I blend, the more is showing up. I have not re-dipped my brush. I'm confused. Usually blush, I feel like I can make work, but this one is just looking like not good. Not good. I'm gonna take my powder brush and go over that to hopefully kind of blend all this together. I would 100% pass on this thing. Let me see what the highlight shade looks like. I have a separate highlight palette that we're gonna try, but here's the highlight shade. That might be like a nice, really natural kind of highlight, which I do like. Maybe I'll add a little bit of that, but first I want to see what this actual highlight palette looks like. So this is the Be My Everything highlight palette. You get 3 shades in here: Diamond Dust, Iridescent, and Glam. Whoops, just dug my nail in there. Dude, I am so sick of brands making white highlights that look friggin' purple. It's actually looking a lot better in the viewfinder right now. On my finger, this definitely has like a purple blue undertone to it, and it feels pretty chalky. Let's see what Iridescent looks like. Ooh, that one looks pretty. Ooh. And then let's see, Glam. Okay, Iridescent and Glam feel much softer than Diamond Dust. Here's Glam. That one also looks pretty. I think I'm going to start out with the Iridescent shade. So here's Iridescent. Weird undertone. Almost looks like gray. I'm going to actually add that Glam gold shade on top. See if that helps warm it up a little bit. Is not looking great. My whole cheek area right here just looks like bruised. The highlight looks like chalky on the face. It feels soft, like it looked nice when I swatched it on my finger, but on the face it definitely looks chalky. Like look at between where my eye powder is and the highlight. It's like, okay, I'm gonna try the highlight shade in this palette again, the Be My Everything palette, and see if this one's any better. something's off with these. Yeah, I would definitely pass on both the bronzer palette and this highlight palette. Okay, I have an eyeshadow palette by them I'm gonna try out, so I'm just priming my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. I wonder how many times I've said MAC Paint Pot in videos over the years. Probably like 700. All right, there are a few things in life more satisfying than a glowy setting spray, so I'm excited to try this out. This is the Selfie Ready Setting Spray Dewy. I like that they had a dewy option, and I'm pretty sure they had a matte option as well, so that's pretty cool to launch with two different kind of setting sprays off the bat. Let's do a test spritz over here. Uh-oh, mister feels pretty wide. Not a great mister. The scent isn't very strong, kind of just like flowery, fresh scent, but it's not overpowering. I have such high expectations for glowy setting sprays now after the Catrice Dewy Glow, because that just like sets the bar so high for other dewy setting sprays. I definitely got some splotches from this mister in a few different areas, so hopefully that dries down. I do think it added a little bit. I'm gonna try and add some more to my cheek area to kind of even that out. This is one of those where when you spray your face, you also spray your entire body involuntarily. As far as face products, this foundation, loving it so far. And the powder, so far so good. Like I would use those for sure, but everything else was a major thumbs down. The setting spray I don't think is making a huge difference. I do look more glowy, but I don't think it would be something that I would recommend out of all the dewy setting sprays. Use the Hard Candy Hydrating Setting Spray or the Catrice Dewy Glow. For eyeshadow, I picked up the Birthday Suit Unveiled palette right here. Looks like you get 6 shades. Are these all friggin' shimmers? Okay, we have a palette with all shimmers here. Cappuccino looks like a satin. I'm gonna use the bronzer shade to start out. This also has a bit of like a sheen to it. It's not totally matte. This is one of the weirder bronzers I've ever tried, I think. I mean, I am going in like literally 10 to 15 times. That Please shade looks pretty. Look at that gold. Here's Upbeat. Whoa, that was powdery. Good vibes, looks pretty similar to Please, just like a little bit more cool tone champagne. I'm gonna start out with the shade Pleased on my finger and press that onto the lid. This is looking so pretty on my finger. Why is it not looking like that on my eyeball? I'm trying to really build this up. Okay, let me try it with the brush. I'm gonna try and wet this shade, so I'm gonna use the brush and just spray it with that dewy setting spray. See if we can get it to show up. Okay, so if you wet the brush and then really build that up, now it's looking like how it did on my finger more, so that looks pretty after doing those things. You definitely need to wet this shade. Okay, even though this looks like it has some major glitter in it, I'm gonna take the shade Evil, because that's the only dark brown shade I have, and I'm gonna try and, wow, that was friggin' powdery, holy crap. I'm gonna try and deepen this up a little bit. Okay, this is Patch City. I don't understand, like when products like this launch, I'm like, did no one test this? Did no one actually put this on their eyeballs? Very, very powdery, and then when you blend it out, it like loses some of that color and just gets pretty patchy. Getting quite a bit of fallout right there. Blend out those edges. That one is looking super patchy. I'm gonna try and work with this situation, so I'm gonna go back in with that shade and just try and like build it up to make that look less patchy. You guys should see my dress right now. It is covered in brown eyeshadow. So if you plan on using this palette, which I wouldn't recommend, but if you do, I would definitely suggest not getting dressed first. Okay, I'm probably cutting this down to like 2 minutes, but just know I've been probably blending with these and working with these for about at least 5 minutes now. I'm going in with the Good Vibe shade, also extremely powdery, and I'm gonna wet this, and I'm gonna press this right towards my inner corner, just blending this into that gold shade. This one is slightly lighter, like very slightly. And I'm gonna try Whipped Cream, that lightest white shade, and I'm gonna spray this too. I'm gonna put this just right on my inner corner, and then bring it down underneath as well. So let's try the shade Cappuccino now. I'm gonna use this on a little pencil brush and blend this down on my lower lash line. Okay, that shade is fine. On a flat liner brush, I'm gonna go back in with the shade Evil. Wow, I have so much powder in my eyes right now. All right, let's move on to something other than eyeshadow, shall we? So this is the I'm So Fly liner. eyeliner, and they had a few different options for eyeliner as well. They actually launched with like good variation of each product. They had a couple different liquid eyeliner options, and out of all the options, this one just seemed like more my cup of tea. It's the brush tip eyeliner, and it says to shake well before use on here, so let's do that. So it looks like you get a pretty small brush tip, so I like that. Feels very soft. I don't feel any don't feel any kind of like scratchiness going on. It's not the most black, at least over shimmer eyeshadows. Some eyeliners are fine on their own, and then over shimmers they like can't handle. Has a very fine tip, so I like that. I could create like a nice thin wing there, so that's nice. It's just not the blackest. I almost feel like it's looking better though as it's drying down. Yeah, what the heck? Does it not look like it's getting more black? You do really need to shake this to get the actual product down, so that's one downside. Uh-oh, this is one that's like bleeding down there. It's going into my inner corner. Okay, definitely not my least favorite eyeliner I've ever tried. Like, I would try this out again. I think this one might be one that will do better not over shimmer eyeshadows, but I like the applicator on this a lot. I did feel like I could get a really nice fine point, and it feels super soft. It feels like the brush tip on the Physicians Formula Eye Booster, which is my favorite. So I'm gonna do my mascara, put on some false lashes, put on some bottom mascara, and then we'll be right back for the last product. Okay, so lashes I put on are the Eylure Talia Power Play. I've been freaking loving these. I love the way they look. The band is a little scratchy. That's the only downside, but the eyeliner, I put it on over to cover up the lash band, and it actually covered it fairly well, so I'm definitely going to try this not on top of a shimmer eyeshadow. I also put my Wet n Wild Mega Lash on the bottom. Okay, so the last product we're going to try is a liquid lipstick. It's a satin liquid lipstick called the Infinite Kiss, and this was in the shade KISS. That's what it's called. Cute packaging on this. I like the little bow on top. It's actually really cute. Has a clean scent. Actually kind of smells like the setting spray. Did they just put the same fragrance in this too? Going on, this feels almost like a lip suede kind of thing. It feels pretty moussey. That's a pretty shade. That shade of red is really pretty. It almost has a little bit of like rosy tones in it. Hopefully this will dry down. I'm going to give it a few minutes to see. I don't love the scent of this for a lip product. For a setting spray, it's fine, but for a lip product, you almost feel like you're washing your mouth out with soap. All right, so it's been a couple minutes. It feels like it's drying down a little bit more, but it definitely still feels like it's going to transfer. So I'm going to do a little kiss test and see. Yeah, totally transfers. So if you're looking for like a transfer proof liquid lipstick, this isn't going to be it, but it does feel comfortable on my lips. It doesn't feel ultra drying or anything, but this is the final look. So I think there are 3 products that I think could be worth spending your money on and trying out. The first is the Truly Yours foundation. I'm like very excited to try this out again and mix this in with stuff because it's looking beautiful on my forehead. I love how moisturizing and just plump this made my skin look. It almost looks like the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude foundation. I have a whole video on that. The way that that kind of plumps your skin up, it gives you that similar effect, but this one has more coverage than that for sure. If you use a decent amount of this and stipple on instead of like blend, it does give you full coverage. So that's exciting. So I'm bummed I won't be able to use this on its own. If this shade matched me, I would totally use this again on its own, but I am going to have to mix it. I think the setting powder could be worth trying out too. I don't see it sitting on top of my skin. I feel like these two together, but then set with the Catrice Dewy Glow would probably be really pretty. And then the last product out of everything that I liked is the brow pencil. Would totally use this again too. I think the shade is like a tiny bit ashier than what I've been going for lately, so I might put on like the Milk brow gel over top just to add a little bit more warmth in there. But I like the formula of this. You can get like the brush stroke hairs, so I think this would be good for someone who just wants to add maybe a little bit of filling in somewhere if you're not doing like a full-on, you know, sculpted brow or anything, but just on an everyday basis. If you have like, you know, a patchy area or something where you need to add a little bit more shape, this is really nice and fine. And then also honorable mention is the eyeliner. Like I said, you guys know my thoughts on this, but I am going to try it again. And then major rejects, things that I don't think should exist, basically, don't spend your money on them, are all of the powder products. These two are pretty bad. The highlighter and bronzer palette, blush palette, pretty bad. The eyeshadow palette, like I think the final look looks fine. I just really had to work with these, especially that brown shade. And then also the lid shade. I mean, I layered the crap out of these to make it look like this. So again, you can make this work. I just would not spend the money on it whatsoever. So if you've tried anything by the JOAH brand, let me know what you thought down below. I'm curious to know what you guys think of this foundation too. If you tried it, it could be worth trying for $9. So I'm going to link everything down below like usual. I also list my jewelry, nail polish color, everything you need to know is down below in the description box. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.